Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Film Hustlers. What's up, Davey Dave?
Hey, what's going down, man?
You know, but it's really weird. You know, we have the strike going on still.
Yeah, it's still going, man. Strong, too.
Writers Guild's going strong, and people are out there picketing, and we got to start making movies again soon. Otherwise, people are going to run out of content, and I know that's the whole idea, but man, I just wish they'd work it out.
Let's make it fair.
Teddy, we started the show without you. Can you sit down?
Would you start the show without me?
Because you were in the restroom.
Coming to you live from the 101 freeway in my wife's car, which is now my car.
That's my favorite opening of all time. Anyway, Teddy, good to see you.
Hey, welcome back. Welcome back.
Today, well, first of all, if you listen to the show, which you're listening now, just go over to iTunes, Apple Podcasts,
Please.
rate us. There's 5 stars. You don't have to give us 5 if you don't feel it's 5, but give us, whatever you think. Give us a review. I like these guys. Tootie's funny. Davey Dave's smart. Whatever you want to say, but say something, or go to the IG and say hello to us. Whatever.
I like the IG.
I want you to remember that we are going to be screening the movie soon at the Los Angeles Shorts Film Festival. So if you want to buy tickets there, no problem. We'll see you there. We are going to be having a screening ourselves, private screening for ourselves to view the film,
for audience members,
and
for our VIPs,
for our VIPs, and for our own sort of quality control.
Yep.
So if you guys want to come to that, it's going to be around the 15th of July. Not sure exactly where, undisclosed location as of now, but IG us. Let us know that you want to come, and we will hook it up. Little cervecitas. We're going to have Flying Embers there. We're going to have some Casa Mexico tequila there. What's the beer we're going to have?
Golden Road beers. We're going to have Say Soul's wine.
Oh, man, we're going to have a lot of alcohol. You can have a water, too.
We're going to have Tico. Is he going to do some apps, possibly?
Tico's on the hook.
On the
hook?
All right,
good.
Oh,
Jeez,
nice.
It's going to get good.
It's going to be a good... You know what? It's going to be a little party, because, Robert, if I'm not mistaken, we're going to run the movie, because it's only 15 minutes, probably every half hour, right?
Yeah. If you miss it at 5, you can see it at 5:30. If you miss it at 5:30, you can see it at 6. If you miss it at 6, you can see it at 6:30.
What are we going to be doing in the lobby while this is going on?
Drinking.
That's right.
Enjoying ourselves, taking some pictures. Let's get everyone who listens pictures and put them on the IG. It'll be a lot of fun.
And your T-shirts.
Maybe.
That might be kind of cool.
We'd have to do it on our phones, but let's give it a shot.
Yeah, that's true.
I wanted to talk about extrememusic.com because last week or the week before I did that example, and I think I used 2 instruments instead of 1, so I want to do it this week, and I want you guys to listen carefully how the instrumentation on this first piece is going to be full, and I'm going to try to narrow this down to 1 instrument on the second song, because I really want you guys to hear this automation that they have, because it's pretty amazing. And I'm sure other companies do it, but I think they do it extremely well. Mm-hmm. So here's...
You see what you did right there? Extremely-well.com.
All right, so listen to this one. You feeling that?
Wow.
It's like it's deep. It's got
moving
tones.
Yeah. That's like moving.
Okay.
Like dun 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 dun.
Yeah,
like
something there. So, and this other piece now is with only 1 instrument that is automated right in their system. You could make it fit your scene. Same song.
Really cool.
I actually like this one better.
That was really dope, Roberts. How did you do that?
Automation on extrememusic.com. They're the best.
You got a knack for this music. And people are asking about the music in Beautiful Darkness and how great it was.
Got it all on extrememusic.com.
Yeah, and who put that shit together?
We all did.
But here we go. We as a group.
Well, if the thing about music and
you want some fazools or what?
No, hey, you got to give me some fazools. No, but look, as a producer, it's one of the things that I like to do the most. Directors don't always necessarily go with everything I choose. We have music supervisors on movies. Yeah. They help with stuff, but I do. I know myself, and I know that I spend probably more time than anyone else would listening to music and trying to fit the right songs into the scenes. The other thing that's really useful for me, and if you're a producer, you could do this, or a filmmaker, take your movie and put it into iMovie without music.
Yeah.
And then when you find songs on extrememusic.com, you download them, put them into iMovie, move them around, and put them in the scenes and see if they work.
Oh.
Because otherwise, there's no real way to know for sure, right?
Yeah.
You're just listening, and then you're thinking, does that fit?
Yeah.
So I actually grab them, I download them, put them into
smart.
the movies.
iMovie,
iMovie, and I watch it with the music that I picked. That's why I think I'm so effective at doing it, because I actually edit them.
Yeah.
But not like an editor would, but just
Right.
like as a producer would, as a placeholder, and kind of give examples.
Yeah.
Smart.
And then you start to get a feeling of whether or not that's the way you want to go. And then a director could say like, "Ooh, I wasn't thinking that at all," because it's possible, right? Everyone has different ideas, but yeah.
Well, we kind of, I don't want to say butt head, but we had differences on some of the music choices that you were giving in Beautiful Darkness, but we figured it out.
Yeah, extrememusic.com, they provide everything you need, and they give you automation. They give you, I don't know, hundreds of thousands of different kinds of songs and different feelings, different genres.
Yeah.
But check them out.
Because you could really go down a
extrememusic.com.
rabbit hole. I did that the other night. And you could just type in like whatever you're feeling, your whatever you wanted. All this stuff pops up, and then you start listening.
Yeah.
And then you keep going.
And within the song, like if you punch in, let's say drama, and it brings up a bunch of dramas, and then you click on a song, and it starts to play that song. When you click on the song, it opens up a little window.
Yeah.
And at the bottom of that window, there's all these other choices. It's like orchestration or country or or different types of feelings or drama or spiritual. And you click on those, and it takes you to a whole other level of songs, that starts to use all of the words that you've punched in. So it's interesting. It's a great system, and again, it's part of the process of making. You can't make movies without music, and music really helps your movie be great. So spend some time on extrememusic.com, pick songs you like, go to iMovie, put them in there, work with it, and then call Russ Emanuel and buy them.
Boom.
Anyway, what I wanted to do is I want to make a random call today to Brian Herzlinger. Now, Brian Herzlinger is a director. Yeah, let's say he's a father first, but he's a director. He did a movie called My Date with Drew back in 2005. The funny thing about this is that I saw the movie, and I was a big fan.
Was Drew Barrymore in it? She was, right?
For a moment.
Oh, that's funny.
I think it was set up. We'll ask him right now. But anyway, I want to call him, see if he answers, and let's wrap with him for a minute, okay?
Thanks for starting the show without me. Appreciate it.
Everyone ready? Stop talking.
Dick. What a dick. I'll send it to you, David.
Cool. Thanks. Oh, there we go. Oh, yeah.
There we go.
Golden.
We're in business.
Now we're golden. Hey, is Brian Herzlinger in, please?
Let me see if he's around.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce Brian Herzlinger. Thanks for taking the call.
No problem. I'm excited. I'm excited to chat with you.
Well, here we are with the Film Hustlers. I got Rod Tootie Rinks here.
Hey, Brian. Heard a lot about you, my man.
Hey, man. How are you?
And I've got Davey Dave here on the ones and twos.
Yo, yo.
Yo, yo.
I was telling these guys that when you and I met, I was a huge fan of My Date with Drew. Was that your first film?
Yeah, that was the first movie. Yeah, it was a feature-length documentary, but I made the whole thing for $1,100. And I made it with I did.
Don't let Roberts know that because he hates hearing things like that.
We actually 20 years ago today were shooting the movie. We were shooting it in the summer of 2003, and it took us 2 years to get it released.
It's an incredibly well done movie. Like I remember, I saw it when you released it. I think I may have even seen it in a theater. And then when I was going to meet you, I watched it again. And you know what? That thing holds up. I mean, you did a really good job.
Thank you. Mentioning that it took us a couple years to get the film released in theaters. We had done the film festival circuit, and we had won every festival we had played, and we were up against like Napoleon Dynamite and Garden State and Super Size Me, and we were winning Best Feature, even though we were a little documentary.
Those are big movies that you're mentioning, by the way.
Oh yeah, and believe me, we knew it. We're huge fans of those movies. And then when we win these awards and we get these standing ovations in the theaters, and then everybody's like, "Oh, this is amazing!" And then one by one, every studio passes on it because it was a romantic comedy wrapped up in the body of an $1,100 documentary that might have Drew Barrymore in it and has a nobody starring in it, me being the nobody. And so it took a while remember again, 03, 04. It came out August 5th, 2005. It was a different time, and if you watch the movie again now, you see it such a time capsule for, there was no Facebook, there was no, cameras in your phones. It was a much less integrated and connected world to try to get a date with somebody like Drew Barrymore. And now you just DM her, But
slide in the DM, Brian.
Slide in the DM. I would definitely skin my knee if I tried to slide. But no, it was the best experience. It was a life-changing experience. I got to make it with my two closest friends, and we just hung out last night. We're all very close, and to have the film, we joke about this, is that we're never going to duplicate the amount of creative control we had on that film, because it was the three of us making this movie. Every frame of that movie was our decision, and the movie that got released was our movie. Yeah. Nothing changed.
You guys did a great job. It's a really well made movie.
I appreciate it.
Just for people who are listening, because a lot of people are either haven't made their films or have made their first films or trying to distribute their films. Were you in college before that? What was the process?
When you go into film, you don't have a set path on how to achieve what you want to achieve, right? There's if you're a doctor, you go to medical school, you do your residency, you're a doctor. If you want to be a lawyer, you go to law school, you take the bar, you're a lawyer. What do you do if you want to make movies? What's the path to be a director, a writer, producer, actor, whatever it is? And what I had been doing, I came out to LA in '97, and was interning. Fortunately, I got to intern with Spielberg, and at the same time over at MGM. That was a whole different story, a whole dream come true. But I had been out in LA for an eternity, which equals 7 years at the time. 7 years is an eternity for somebody who wants to get the chance to direct.
Yeah.
And I had been working as a production assistant on David Kelly shows, Chicago Hope, and then I was the executive producer's assistant on Ally McBeal. And what happened was I was not only able to make short films while I was working, there, but I also had a front row seat to some of the best people in the business, some of the best filmmakers in the business that would come in and do an episode. And I just got to watch and ask questions and watch them turn around an entire episode in 8 days. And that was just one of the best training grounds for me. And then, of course, Ally McBeal got canceled. My boss took a year off. I was handing out editing supplies to editors at Encore Video, working the graveyard shift from 7 at night to 3 in the morning at the time. And a buddy of mine told me about a game show that was holding auditions during the day. And it was a game show called Taboo, which you see in the opening of My Date with Drew. And I won the game show. And the winning answer was the name Drew Barrymore. and the prize money was $1,100 in luggage. So, it was...
Are you guys listening to how this happened?
Yeah,
it's the craziest friggin' story you've ever heard in your life. I mean...
And it's all real. It's all real.
We got to have you in on the show, so we're not doing this over the phone, because I want to hear the whole story. But
I'll be there.
The idea that you took your winnings from a game show, that the winning answer was Drew Barrymore, and that it was $1,100, and that's what you used to make the movie is it's the perfect storm for the best press you could ever get.
Yeah.
And what's funny is John and Brett, who made the film with me, they've known, along with everybody in my life, that I had a crush on Drew since I was 6 years old when I saw E.T. So they're like, wow, you really picked the right person to have a crush on when you were a little kid. What a wonderful experience, and we've stayed in touch since the film. One of the most generous people.
It's a great movie, man. I want to hear all about your journey on it, because it was marketing genius. It really was.
Well, I appreciate it, and it was definitely lightning in a bottle.
And you're writing now? You write with your wife?
Yeah, she's the brains behind the operation, 100%.
You guys are now working on films together. You're directing films on your own. I'm a big fan of the work that you've done. I'm looking forward to working with you here in the future. But yeah, you've been spending a lot of time doing holiday films, family films. What's your passion? What's like the number one genre that you like to work in, or that you'd hope to work in?
Well, let me start by saying I'm so pumped that I got to meet you. I really am.
Wow.
No, I'm going to, your friends, I'm sure they're going to bust your ass about this, but I'm telling you, you work in the business for years, you get to meet producers that know how to produce, and you get to meet producers that don't. And thankfully, you're one of the former. So,
Thank you.
And you're a good guy. So,
but no, you know, I want to say this about us meeting. You're right. Like a lot of times you meet with people in this business, and you know, there's lots of people with different types of ideas. But I feel like you and I really connected on a lot of things. I feel that you like to focus on music in your movies. I think you like musicals. I think you like a lot of you and I liked a lot of the same kinds of movies.
Well, it's funny. It's funny you bring that up, because I'll say one more thing about My Date with Drew is that if you watch the film and you see the songs, you mentioned the music. You see the songs in that film. We literally gave up half of our money in order to pay for having those songs in the movie.
It's worth it.
You know, it was just such a, it was a no-brainer for us, because we all love music. I love the way music, it's 50% of your movie. The John Williams and Jerry Goldsmiths, Alan Silvestri's of the world, along with all the musicals like Shall We Dance, which you and I bonded over. I love it. It's one of my favorite genres. But in terms of genres, man, I love movies, right? And so do you. And it's like, what kind of movies do I want to make? Well, I love making the ones that are, that elicit an emotional response from the audience. Something that's effective. I long for, whatever my ET is, right? But at the same time, I love National Lampoon's Vacation. I love Caddyshack. I love, Grease. I like all of it. So what has happened is, by chance, I've become the go-to Jew for Christmas movies. So I've made a number of those.
That's a movie in itself.
Oh yeah, it's coming soon to a synagogue near you. But, it's like and Mark, these movies so well. A lot of the holiday fare just exists to check the boxes. Some are decent, some are not, and then every once in a while you get the ones that kind of stand out from the pack. And my goal in making any film is to be able to put my fingerprints on it and make it feel like, okay, I get that this is, the way he tells the story, it's his voice, and that's something that just got stronger when I started writing with my wife. Just being able to just have the control of the story you're telling while simultaneously checking the boxes, you're still able to make something fun and magical for yourself,
Yeah. Well, I mean, your last movie, I did watch Reindeer Games Homecoming. Yeah. I thought you went pretty deep on that film, considering, that they usually don't let you do that. So I thought you guys did a really nice job on that.
Well, thank you. But with Reindeer Games Homecoming, that was written by Sarah Drew, who starred in the film.
Yeah, she was great.
And she's great. And what I loved about it was that it did have that emotional layer to it. It deals with grief, deals with loss. It checked the boxes, not at the cost of being original. And the fortunate thing, you have a wonderful relationship with Lifetime. I have a similar relationship with Lifetime, where they trust you and they trust me, and the fact that they let us make the movie the way we wanted to make it was a dream. It really was. And I've already geeked out with you over the lenses I used, right? Like the anamorphic lenses.
It was anamorphic.
Like, oh my God.
Nice.
Yeah. I'm using the lenses from Indiana Jones. This is fantastic.
Oh, by the way, I saw your Instagram. You were at Indiana Jones premiere the other night.
Yes. What an amazing experience to be at the premiere. That was really cool. Really, really cool.
How was the movie?
I will say that, let me just say this, and I'm sure you guys all agree, the original trilogy makes you want to make movies. You know what I mean? Like, they're just, for me, he's my favorite. Indiana Jones is my favorite character. Those three movies are my favorite movie, and among my favorite movies. And when I saw Crystal Skull, it was heartbreaking, right? When I went and saw the fourth one years ago, much like everybody else were like, what was that?
Yeah.
I'll hold my opinion until after you see it.
All right. Well,
it's a thing.
It's Godfather 3. I get it. Godfather 3.
Put it this way. At least the Godfather 3 had, every time I'm out, they keep pulling me back in. That, at least it had that moment, right? And, there were a couple of moments that it felt like a Godfather movie. So that has the edge.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing that. I'm really excited about seeing Mission Impossible 8 or whatever it is.
Me too.
Yeah, it looks.
Oh yeah, Dead Reckoning Part 1. That looks awesome.
Looks pretty awesome.
And by the way, that's something to bring up. One of the things that I couldn't help thinking about when I was watching Indiana Jones was what Tom Cruise did in Top Gun Maverick.
Right.
Just the legitimacy, the truth, the genuine excitement, because you're watching these people do it, right? It's not green screen, it doesn't feel green screen. It doesn't feel like it's digitized like crazy and it's all digital faces put on stuntmen. It does, and that was something that I think is going to stand the test of time, where you see, somebody like Tom Cruise is just literally bringing it and not settling. And that's what I think we're all expecting now from the new Mission Impossible, which looks like it's going to deliver.
He's one of our finest filmmakers. I mean, he clearly understands
he
story and
so
he cares,
much.
and he puts his whole life into it, and
Yeah, literally, yeah, he really does. Anything that gives me the excuse to get into a theater, I'm there. So,
no, agreed, 100%. So when you come back, I want to talk to you about the movie you just did. We were both pretty close to each other. I was in Toronto. You were in New York.
Yes.
What was it like shooting in New York? And you also shot in Kentucky?
Yes.
What was that?
Man, it's funny. It was a really educational experience to actually film in New York, because the only other time I was ever in New York shooting anything was My Date with Drew, when we shot it on mini DV, never said action, never said cut, and now I'm shooting in Central Park with a crew in the midst of a writer's strike, and just really loving every second of it, even though it was so difficult.
Yeah,
it was so difficult to pull it off, and just not necessarily because of the strike, but more importantly, just because of the nature of New York.
I shot a film in New York. I shot Strangers with Candy in New York, but that was back in 2003. So I think it was a little easier to shoot back then.
That's a great movie, by the way. That is a great movie.
Thank you, sir. But look, I'm going to call you next week. We'll figure out a date for you to come back on. Thanks for taking the call and for chatting about your career. And we'll get back on it when you come out to the show.
A pleasure chatting with all of you. Thank you. And I'll go continue to be random.
All right. Thanks, Brian. Talk to you later.
See you, Brian.
All right. Thanks, guys. All right. Bye-bye.
That was cool.
Yeah.
We had a longer conversation than I expected. We kind of covered a lot of ground, but he's a fascinating guy. He's a director. He's a writer. Him and his lovely wife write together. They have 3 beautiful children. They find a way to make it happen, put food on the table by...
She a fan of My Date with Drew? Probably not, right?
Oh, that's a good question. We'll have to ask. Wow. We'll have to ask if she is, but I'm sure she is. Yeah. She's a great writer along with him, and I want to work with these folks.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll get to do something together.
You will.
We're similar. He spends a lot of time on his music. He spends a lot of time on his story. He's very ambitious, like when you think about being a director and you get your break, which Tootie, you're probably going to get opportunities to do smaller movies, bigger movies and smaller movies. And when you do the small ones, you have to be ambitious. And I think Brian's pretty ambitious with, below $5 million. He's like shooting an anamorphic movie. Meet Me Next Christmas was anamorphic, but I'm talking about 10 times the budget that I normally have.
Yeah. Explain what anamorphic is.
It's a type of lens, right?
It's a type of lens. You could say you have the traditional style of 16 by 9, right?
Yeah.
Normal TV size these days.
Yeah.
What this does, it actually opens up the picture a little bit. Galvan's probably going to listen and be like, "Hey, what the fuck is this guy talking about?"
Yeah.
Anyways, but what it does, it expands the width.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it kind of squeezes a little bit. You put the little black bars on top. So that's if you see that, and it looks pretty wide, it's anamorphic.
So it's basically like the panorama on your phone.
You know what it is? No, it's the old school style of film CinemaScope.
Yeah,
that's where it came from.
Yeah, you're right. Now that I think about it, you're right. It captures a lot more of what you're shooting. It captures a lot more of the room, so the frame is large and you're able to cover a lot of ground.
It's great.
But anyway, he shot on anamorphic, which again, if I was producing, I would have probably been like, "Are you sure you want to shoot anamorphic?" But you watch the film. He shot anamorphic. He used for Reindeer Games Homecoming.
Yeah,
and it looks great. And within the time period that we all shoot these movies, the Lifetime movies are shot under 20 days, sometimes 14, 15 days like we do.
Yeah.
And it's hard, because your DP's got to be on top of it to be able to get that done. But yeah, the guy's super talented. He's, he never stops working. I think he does 2-3 films a year.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, he did a super high rated film for Lifetime with Maria Menounos.
He's directed Kramer a couple times too.
So he did a really highly rated film, like right up there. We were probably neck and neck with Stepping Into the Holidays. He did a film with Maria Menounos called The Holiday Dating Guide. So he did a couple of films. He did Reindeer Games Homecoming last year. He did The Holiday Dating Guide. I think he directed a movie called Deadly Yoga Retreat, which I haven't seen yet.
Deadly Yoga?
Nice.
It really is called that way. It really is called that.
From singing in Christmas to chopping up yoga?
I guess so. I'm not sure what's happening there. We're going to have to ask him about where that came from. But
unless that's a Christmas movie.
He directed it. It's Deadly Yoga Retreat. Okay. But yeah, his films are highly rated. He does some, on his own. I think in some cases he shoots them in a very short period of time, but it takes a lot of talent to do that. You have to have a director willing to make that happen, and sometimes it's how it is. You go home after a day's work as a director and you're trying to get stuff done in 14 days. You get cramps in your legs, you can't sleep.
Dude,
you're moving equipment yourself. Like that doesn't happen with just your small crew. You can't get a film done.
That's just physically. What about the mental?
Yeah, the mental.
Going on?
Well, the mental part's the hardest part, right? Because you've got to keep yourself together. You got to be doing this job, which is a coveted job that you've been wanting to do your whole life, but then you didn't realize that you were going to have to also get craft service, also set up lunches, also do wardrobe, lots to do. I don't know that he does all that. Like I know that you did on your movie, but I know that he puts his heart and soul into these things, and as a result, he's got to do a lot of the work.
He probably did, because even Scorsese still does that.
You got to.
Yeah, you have to, because Scorsese used real money in all of his movies. He doesn't use prop money.
That's classic.
There's a dude, because he wants his actors to feel the difference between paper and linen. It's cotton and linen. It's like a combination.
Are you serious? I thought it was just paper.
No, why do you think when you wash $1 it doesn't disintegrate?
So when I tried to photocopy my bills the other day, that didn't work. Oh shoot!
I wrote a whole script about making counterfeiting.
It's called making money.
That's what it's called.
That's right.
Making fazools.
I know. Hey, I'm making some fazools.
You know what? He wants
fazools. No one was paying attention. It's funny. I wish the audience could know what I was saying there. Fazools, because you want some fazools. Sometimes you can't just do the job without getting fazools. But yeah, I mean, look, there's once you get into it, once you start directing and producing, it's not, you can move up the ladder pretty quickly, but there's a lot of movies being made in the $1 million to $2 million to $3 million to $5 million range that do require you to know every last detail about how to make a movie.
Right. Yeah.
Like, you can't just show up on a set on $1 million movie and expect everything to be there for you and someone to hand you the keys to a BMW. It's not going to happen. No. Right? You have to figure out and be in it and be part of the solution as a director. Even as a producer, you've got to be in there. You can't just sit around. You got to, like even on the short with Beautiful Darkness, I would go to sleep and I'd wake up and I'd think, like, wait a minute, what guns are we, like, how are we doing the gun thing? How are we doing the, you would call about the sweatsuit that he was going to wear, and we had to talk about food, and like there was who's getting.
You were texting in the middle of the night.
I picked up the coffee, in the morning, and
your window didn't work.
And my window wasn't working. Right, I was freezing at 7:00 in the morning, driving to set with my window down.
But stealing beds from Lopez's house.
Yeah. Oh my God, dude, we totally stole a bed.
You had no idea.
No, and then we put it back. Wait, I put it back. I went by myself. But yeah, you know what? Exactly. What you have to do when you don't have the dough to do it is all personal. Like, how good do you want stuff to be? And I think when you talk about a director like Brian, I'm certain that he's got to do a lot of stuff like that, where you've got to kind of put yourself out a little bit. You're not just going back to your room after wrap with your,
script in your pit and your shot list for the next day.
No, you got to be calling people like, hey, is this going to be there? Hey, what about that wardrobe? Hey, don't forget to have
props. Art department.
How many times have you been on a set where they're like, hey, wait a minute, wasn't he wearing a jacket in this scene when he, and then you've got to go. So I think preemptively, producers and directors, especially on the lower budget stuff, you have to be thinking about what's happening in the script. What are they wearing? Where are we going?
Yeah.
What time of day is it?
Yeah.
There's a lot of times you can't control that, right? You're going to have to shoot in the daytime and make it nighttime.
Yeah.
We do it all the time. But
Beautiful Darkness, we were supposed to shoot during the day, and Galvan and I wanted night, and it just so happened that first shot was very long. I don't know, was that Galvan? because we got the night.
We got tonight. That's true. But I was watching the movie today, and I noticed, the walk in the alley to darkness, right?
Yeah,
that's a little bit of a stretch, but because he's walking, you figure, oh, maybe he got home a little bit late or whatever. Yeah. But that is definitely there was definitely a
yeah. I mean, we could have used, because we went from not to give stuff away. Yes, there could have been one more afternoon.
Or you could have stopped it down a little bit. Like it could have been a little bit darker. But I know that we were limited on that. But I think, look, two things. When you work in under $5 million, $2 million, you've got to scramble. As a director, as a producer, everyone on the set's got to help. Yeah. I think Brian, like you, even though we only had $65,000 for your short, you guys wanted to do something special. You want to shoot on film. That cost us money, right? It cost us process.
Yeah.
But was it worth it? Yeah. It was worth it. And does everyone know why that's happening at the time that it's happening? No, they don't understand it. But in the end, if you know why you're doing something and you're being ambitious about doing a film that has a quality that you feel is going to be unique to your movie, then do it. Yeah. Brian shot on anamorphic. Is it recommended at a lower budget? I'm going to assume that if you get 10 executives in a room, they're probably going to, half of them are going to say, like, I don't think you should shoot anamorphic.
Probably more than that.
Yeah, maybe more. So, but that's an ambition, right? That's somebody who wants a film to look a certain way, knows that the art department's going to capture enough of the frame so that you can, use that anamorphic frame to capture like this huge
Jaws,
amount of information.
Wasn't it? Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah, I think
Dude,
so.
of all that's one of my favorite. That's probably my favorite movie of all time. Idolmaker's number one, probably, but Jaws is second, or they're neck and neck. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I mean, really, because you're trying to cover such a wide space. You're talking about an ocean. You know what I mean? Not just but the beach, and you want to capture all that stuff. You don't want to compress it. You want to lengthen it. Yeah. So, but again, it depends on the context of what you're trying to capture.
It's amazing, man. I mean, it's amazing what we do and how we do it, and in some cases, I worked on a bigger film with Netflix, and I'll tell you, it feels.
You did anamorphic on that too?
We shot anamorphic,
because it's big, and you want to capture all that.
Yeah, and I think we did, and the art department was huge, and there was a lot of money to do a lot of stuff. I mean, it still felt like, we were always like trying to squeeze a penny.
Were you really?
Yeah, it did feel that way. I mean, it was luxurious.
Hey, no off the top?
No off the top. It was luxurious for what I'm used to.
Yeah.
But it was still, every week we were like, ooh, shoot, we can't be over on this, and we got to, so it's still a little bit indie. And, look, I went to hear Jerry Bruckheimer talk about Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah.
And he was like, we needed that extra $100 million, and they were already giving us $300 million. It was like that kind of conversation, and I was like, everyone has it at every level, right? Yeah. So that whatever hundreds of millions he was talking about probably seemed like $3-4 million to us. But, everyone deals with it. They were like, we weren't going to be able, he was like, can't really do what we planned on doing. With 300, I needed 400 million. Of
course. You leave it up to filmmakers. You're going to do a space movie. They're going to want to go to space. Right. Literally, they're going to say, "We need a rocket. If you want this done right, we need to go to Mars. Bottom line, or it's not going to work."
That's funny. That's a
right.
filmmaker.
Sky's the limits. True. And they tell you that, like, don't hold back. Right? Go all out.
I love creative people, man. I was thinking about Mike Addis. We did this film called Poor White Trash, and he was out of his mind, man. I remember even in casting, we were in casting, and I remember we were at, I think it was, I can't remember who cast the movie, but we were in casting, and he had a video camera with him, like a DV camera.
Yeah.
And people would read, and he'd be cruising and like shooting them as they were doing an audition. Yeah, as they were auditioning. So people were leaving and telling their agents, and people were calling to get their clients auditions because they were like, I heard the director's amazing.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know if he's amazing. He's walking around with a video camera in casting, but people were like hearing about this director on Poor White Trash. We ended up with Sean Young and Jamie Presley and Bill Devane and all these great, Jason London, all these great actors, you know, and they were just hearing about this director that was shooting during the auditions. Like you could have been nobody and he still shoot you, you know, you didn't care. Yeah. But
did your post guy hear about him, or your editor, or your sound guy?
We had a great editor. We had Tom McCardle edited that movie, and he had done Star Maps.
No, I'm thinking of your
Oh, you mean a composer?
Your composer.
Yeah, no. Well, we got into a huge fight where Mike and I, you know, fell into the drums, and he's funny. He popped up and he was like, "Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah. I get your point." But I love creativity. You know, it's one of the coolest things. But you know, that's early on. Right now things are much more calm. Like if someone did that, I'd just be like, okay, you're fired, and I'd move on. Right? Like,
you wouldn't spill your coffee.
No, but back like, you know, I'm 30 years old, and I'm just thinking like, I don't know how to deal with this like madman of a director. So I'm gonna punch him, and we're just gonna have a fist fight, and then we'll figure out what happens after. Because that's how it felt, you know. But yeah, those times would change. But you know, directors sometimes they're not like Brian, you know, they're like crazy mad people where you're like, oh, this is like mad genius. I was talking to my wife about it. She was like, would you work with so and so again? I was like, I would, because you know, not every project's easy, right? Like sometimes you work with people, they're fucking crazy, and you know they are, but you also know that they're going to produce something pretty cool. Not everyone's like that, right? There's also people that are just literally just crazy with no talent. Right. There's definitely people like that, but I have experienced and taken on jobs where I know it's going to be like, tough. You know, where I'm going to cuss them out on the phone in the parking lot and fire them 3 or 4 times during a project. You know,
I've never seen this guy.
Yeah, I've done that, you know. But I've also, in that same movie or those various movies, I also realized that the voice of people that are mad and excited and committed, those voices are important to projects. They're important in a room, you know, like if you're uncomfortable with a director like spewing all these ideas that are bad, but there's one good one in there somewhere, or they have a theory about how the film should be, I want to hear it. I want to hear it. I'll decide if it's crazy and if we're going to do it later, but I want to hear someone's voice, and I want to hear the passion, you know, in someone's explanation as to why, you know, why we're going to, you know, get up on a crane that is illegal and put a camera on it with a 10K light in the middle of the night, you know? But yeah, I miss that a little bit, you know, because it is a business that needs to, you need to be careful with at some point. But I do miss the indie world where you just, you know, there's no real rules. And I'm not talking about guns. You know, clearly guns is not what I'm talking about. But
no, you're talking about when the cops show up for the permit. And you're like, wait, where's
hang on, where's the permit? Keep shooting.
Keep shooting.
Hang on, the permit's in my car. And then I think
it's in the car.
And then I run away.
Where'd that producer go? Where did he?
But no, and you know, or things like, you know, dangerous setups, like when you're trying to shoot, you know, a car scene, you know, you have those little, they have all these poor man process stuff, you know, like how do you poor man process shooting outside of a car with a camera shooting in? You know, there's dangerous ways to do that, you know, where you're just strapping the thing to the door.
Or you're on rollerblades.
You're on rollerblades. Yeah, but you know what? That's movie making, and it's part of the process, and it's exciting, and you got to do it because you got to do it. You know, people want to do stuff like that. On Poor White Trash, our DP got in the back of a car, and he was hanging out the car, and they were having an argument in the car, and they didn't see this tanker truck coming at them.
Oh no!
But no, that's the scene, right? So they barely missed the tanker truck, and we're like, okay, so how are we going to shoot this? He's like, I'm just going to get in the back of the car, and we got a stunt guy, and he's not going to, and it's going to be fine. And you know, I'm a young filmmaker at this point. I'm thinking, okay, so we're all good with this. Yeah, we're going to 10 feet before 20 feet before the truck hits me, we're going to move, and the camera's going to, you know, be on this side, so it's going to be a beautiful shot of us missing the tanker. Guess what? Tanker hits the car.
Did it really?
Barely hit the car, missed, like the camera was out here, it hit the back, as it was going out of the way, it hit the back of the car on the right side.
Great shot, though. Great shot.
Yeah, great shot. They were like, oh my God, are you okay? Is everything okay? Yeah, it's hot as hell in like the middle of Illinois in the summertime. It was 105 degrees at night.
Car?
It was crazy. We bought it. You know,
You had?
yeah, we bought cars, we split cars, we blew up cars. It was great. But stuff that you don't normally do, you know, that an executive might say like, you know, I don't know that that's going to work out. That's a big movie stunt, you know. Yeah. But it was everything we did was almost indie. On the verge of being dangerous.
You know what I'm getting from this, Dave? I'm getting that this guy's missing indie, where there's no exec right. We can't do that. There's no way.
And Brian did that. We were talking to Brian. Brian's talking about like, you know, My Date with Drew and, you know, the game show and like that creative way of just making your life happen.
Yeah.
You know, that was like when I watch My Date with Drew, I think this is brilliant. You know, he wins a game show. It's on the movie at the beginning. Drew Barrymore, he $1,100, and then he goes and makes a movie where he's trying to get to Drew Barrymore the whole movie, and then he does. Yeah. Anyway, it's a fun show, energetic. We're talking about, you know, real life situations, and it's exciting and inspiring. What's the motto to our show today? Throw your hat over the fence.
Don't get hit by a tanker truck if you're doing an indie.
Oh my God, those are great stories. We should have Mike Addis back in,
or at least save the camera.
There you go,
dude. Save the camera. I remember. I'll have to tell this story next time. All right, guys. Well, that was fun.
That's good.
We'll have Brian here. We'll talk to him about his career and how he's got a lot of really fun information to share. So we'll have him here in the studio. We'll talk to him here. In the meantime, go make your movies, make things happen. Don't forget, the Film Hustlers are going to have a screening of Beautiful Darkness. In addition,
mid-July.
In addition, we are in the Los Angeles Shorts International Film Festival from the 19th to the 27th. Yeah. And I think they're going to announce our movie and all of the movies that are showing at the festival on the 30th of June. So
we'll post on IG.
We'll
all the info.
We'll tell you about it when it shows up, but you can buy tickets to go see it at the theater there for the LA Shorts, or you can come to our screening where we're all going to be there, and we can take pictures and have a beer. Maybe I'll have some Casa Mexico there. You don't know.
Maybe some flying.
Don't be afraid of it. I might have a camera. We might shoot a movie while we're there.
I like it. Maybe we'll do a podcast. What do you think?
Do a podcast from
coming to you live.
Let's make it happen. All right, guys. Well, thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you next time on Film Hustlers.
All right, Film Foos.